Hey guys, welcome to this breakdown on Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Estrada. I picked round 6 today to study. We're going to take a look at how Rodriguez uses the 4 decisions. Now I've picked round 6, which is the round where he actually does get knocked down, but it was such an interesting round the whole way through that I thought we could learn a lot from it. Now let's watch the first couple of exchanges and see what happens. So he's going to start by coming forward, changing the angle with looks, shuffling forward using that very crisp jab that he has there, and stepping back from attacks. So if we actually delve into that a little bit more, you can see him walk around to his left first before feinting in with the pivot out. So if you're Estrada in this scenario, you're seeing Jesse Rodriguez change the angle whilst he's coming forward, which is making you readjust your position to him. So it's an interesting way of coming forward. Now he shuffles forward and slips a little bit with his high guard as Estrada jabs out, before suddenly rolling in, coming back up and landing this wonderful jab. Now, the first thing we've got to look at with his jab is look how coordinated his lead foot and hand are together. They come out at exactly the same time on the step in and just allow for this wonderful shot coming up off the level change. Again, the same thing where he just steps into the middle and he sort of sneaks the hand under the guard through the opening whilst he's keeping his lead foot on the outside. He sees Estrada's about to retaliate, so he just raises his guard very sideways on and just allows the sting to be taken out from these shots by stepping back. Okay, let's keep going. Now here he's going to try to establish his lead hand a little bit more, and you can actually see this is where the knockdown happens. And if we look at that back, it's actually because Jesse Rodriguez steps in with a jab first, really nice work, and then you see Estrada straight away go for a sort of pull counter after his jab. This time Rodriguez correctly squeezes away from it. He level changes a little bit coming forward. He's going to try to bait the lead hand out in order to counter it. So what he wants to do is pull away, jab over the top, which is a nice shot, but Estrada throws a free himself. So he goes 1, 2, and then takes the outside foot position before landing this great right hand on the angle. There really wasn't much Rodriguez could do about that, and it's a really great shot. So anyway, he gets up, smiles it off, and is pretty ready to work again. Okay, so let's see how he comes back into it. So the first thing he's going to do is sort of use some lead hand counters and some feints before jabbing and changing the angle. Now, if we look at that, you can see that Estrada is a little bit more aggressive, and what Rodriguez is trying to get him to do is to rein it in. So the first thing he's going to do is look for a counter. He's going to raise his guard, see the right hand coming, so he steps back and jabs over the top. And then he's going to try to temper Estrada even more by level changing really hard, and you can see Estrada back off. And that's just giving him a little bit of distance to come back up a little bit more safely. And then he knows he's near the ropes now, so what he's going to try to do is sort of use this throwaway jab before taking the outside angle and pivoting off back to the center. Really nice work. So he changes the angle, steps back from the right hand, rolls under the left hook with a pivot. Really excellent defense there. Okay, let's keep watching. He's going to start by using his lead hand, move backwards a little bit to look for a counter, then tries to find this too, but stays there a little bit too long, as you can see, and just gets caught with these counters here. After he gets caught from this exchange, he circles off to his right, then breaks away, resets to his left very shortly, is trying to pull away from the jab, and then establishes his own lead hand. So this again is a very effective way of changing the angles in fights. You don't have to do it with a pivot each time, and can just do it by circling off, pulling away, resetting to the left. Instead of being one-dimensional and going forwards and backwards, moving left and right will constantly change the hip position of your opponent to adjust to you. Now Estrada does land this good jab here, because if we look at the reset, because Rodriguez didn't create enough space moving backwards to begin with, but Rodriguez continues to move around to his left. And then how does he establish his lead hand? A short feint, just draws out the hand of Estrada, and then boom, jabs him through the opening, again with that wonderful, wonderful step in. He shuffles back once he's not sure what Estrada is trying to retaliate with. Now here they've got quite a bit of distance. He sees the jab coming, he looks for some defense. He tries to step back from the first one, it lands kind of partially, sees the second, and decides to step away from that very economically. Wonderful work. Now he moves around to the left, defends the jab, establishes his own lead hand with some feints. He moves away and moves around to his right. And then what he's going to do is set up this wonderful shot by pivoting and then look at the defense after. Really lovely work. So if we take a look back at that, you can see him raise his guard as he steps in, feints just a little bit before popping out his jab in the center. You see Estrada just a tiny bit square on. And then what he's going to do is use his left hand as a frame on the neck, turn with a pivot as he controls the back of Estrada, and then bring back his left hand and turn it into an uppercut. Wonderful, wonderful shot. Immediately raises his guard, squeezes his chest, takes this right hand around near the ear area, but then just ducks away from the left hook and pivots out back into a bladed position. Amazing defense there. Now here we're going to see how he establishes his jab quite consistently throughout the fight. And what he actually does, if you look at it from here, is he's defending the jab whilst he's walking around to his left and circling, moving towards the inside angle versus an orthodox boxer, but then every time he throws his jab, steps to the outside. So he does this very consistently. Now here he squeezes away, pivots off, changes the angle of attack again, uses some level changes as defense just to make Estrada hesitant, and then he's going to use some wonderful slip looks here, and then spend some time on this level change before suddenly exploding up with this great 1-2. Here he's going to use his looks backwards, just step very economically, use some slip looks and some high guard changes. Sees Estrada a little bit static, so drops his lead hand a bit and then comes up with it very nicely. Now he's going to look for a counter. He sees that Estrada wants to retaliate. He steps back from the first jab, slips the second as he goes to the inside, and then really tries to go for this uppercut, but unfortunately lands on the shoulder. It's amazing to me how concentrated he is this whole round, especially after getting dropped. Now he's going to try to come in with a 3-punch combination here with his double jab left hook as he moves around to the right of Estrada. But Estrada's got some sneaky defense and just moves back from it out of danger. Now here we're going to see a classic look for a counter, a nice high guard bait, and then slip left hand. After this left hand, you see him come back to his guard straight away, really intentfully looking for any retaliation shots from Estrada. Estrada ducks under, feints the right hand to the body before coming around with this left hook right hand. And Rodriguez manages to safely squeeze away, and even look at the impact of that right hand. No wonder it dropped him earlier. Really hard shot from Estrada, even through the guard. He backs off a little bit and then comes back in to duck under the left hook with this level change, which is a great feint as well as defense if you do it sideways on. Anyway, let's keep watching. He shuffles forward, gets caught with this right hand a little bit because he shuffles into range. He steps back, changes the angle with circling out to his right. This time pulls away from the jab, using again some nice slip looks, raising his guard, and then stepping around to the right with his lead foot in concert to land this beautiful jab. He risks going for it again stepping outside to the right, which makes him avoid the jab coming back from Estrada, and then turns his hand into a sort of forearm frame, changes his level and tries to find the uppercut. But again, I think it only manages to hit the shoulder of Estrada. He walks around to his left, establishes his high guard, leans over a little bit to cut the distance, and then boom, a nice jab in between the gloves of Estrada. And here let's see how he sets up an attack. So he lands his jab, uses some shoulder feints and slips, and again, level changes before coming in with his 3-punch attack. Estrada moves off to his left here. He's trying to regain the center and stalk Rodriguez back. So Rodriguez plays his part a little bit, raises his guard, level changes as he moves backwards, uses a slip look, but it cuts the distance short for Estrada. So he just pops out this jab, tries to pull away from it, but it gets through. And then he's going to walk on the inside, frame straight away with a touch jab. Again, establish that inside angle, raise his guard, and then step outside of the left foot of Estrada, this time aiming the jab to the forehead, which is a really effective target spot because it's so difficult to parry upwards, okay, which is the main form of jab defense. Now he's stalking him forwards using some slip looks again. Estrada tries to establish close range. Rodriguez is happy to commit there, and then they both engage. Rodriguez is lower than him, so he has the advantage in terms of balance. He hooks him around to the body with one shot before stepping out and pivoting away, changing the angle and making it hard to retaliate for Estrada. Now he's going to look for a little bit more defense here. He tries to duck, he tries to block this right hand, and then reset out to his right very quickly with a squeeze. Here just pulling and slipping away from these 3 shots before stepping in again, making a conscious effort to angle around to the left before suddenly taking the angle out to the right with this wonderful double jab. Really making it hard to read the angle of attack with the jab because he's not coming forward in straight lines. Here he squashes the distance a bit, gets under this jab, and then tries to smother a little bit of Estrada's work, but Estrada lands this good right hook to the body. Really great timing from Estrada because as you can see, he sees Rodriguez walk around to his left just a little bit and it lines up perfectly for his right hand. Now here Rodriguez goes back to what he knows best, raises his guard, uses a little bit of a harsh feint with a high guard before dropping his lead glove and almost coming under with the jab. Really nice work, and then looks for defense straight away, super alert. Tries to pull away from the first jab, doesn't work, so he steps back very intentfully from the second and even raises his defense just in case. Here we're going to see some wonderful work. He's going to raise his guard, and once Estrada tries to jab at it, level changes straight away to make him hesitant. Then he continues his looks forwards with these harder slip looks before feinting his front foot and then stepping in with his jab to the body. Now here he's going to, again, use his high guard, squash the distance with a wonderful quick step in, and then boom, land this 2 to the body. He stays in this high guard squared up position, looks for a counter on the inside, catches this shot on the glove, and then comes up with this wonderful uppercut, this 2 and this 3. He does get caught a little bit here as well and readjusts, but wonderful work. Now here he's moving again towards the inside angle, looking for a counter. He can't find it, so what does he do? Throws it anyway, slips and throws in the backhand. Really nice work, squaring up his base now, shifting to the other side, and then lands this wonderful uppercut, slips behind this left hook here, and then tries to go for this body shot, but Estrada backs up. Again, shuffling forward, taking the angle out to the right. Estrada feints him, and he just moves backwards towards the center. Again here, raising his guard, squashing the distance, trying to look for a counter here. He waits for the left hook to come around, blocks it on the elbow, and then comes up straight away with the uppercut, and then a 2-1 at the end of it. What does he do to recover? Goes straight into that squeeze to the shoulder to make sure he's smothering Estrada, but then Estrada pushes him off and they regain the distance. You see here now the level changes mean a lot more since he's used it a couple times to counter and enter close range. So there's that for Estrada to think about now as well. So you can see him feint him backwards, it draws out the lead hand, again raises his guard, feints out the first jab, and then pops him with the second, feints the left hand, squares up Estrada on the ropes. Once he's squared up, he then capitalizes, he uses a little stutter feint with the arm before flicking out his jab. Getting closer to a squared up opponent, he touches, leaves the second one as a frame, and then boom, lands this 2 to the body. Really Shakur-esque actually there. He smothers forwards, feels the right hand to touch the glove, so he uses it straight away to catch and counter with the left hook. From here, he's pushed Estrada back, goes for this wonderful 1-2, and then this hook around to the body. Again, using his left shoulder here to smother and defend himself, creating a little bit of space with the lead shoulder, and then goes for this left hook around the guard. Super nice work, he's staying very comfortable with the squeeze, takes a couple of shots back from Estrada, but then sees that Estrada's trying to reset off to his left, so he decides no. He sort of jumps into the angle with his shoulder, throws this throwaway hook to the body, and then lands this beautiful right hook as Estrada's lead hand is down. Just an excellent shot. Now he comes forward, defends the jab a little bit more. Estrada's trying to create some distance. He keeps stalking him forward with looks, and then uses again this wonderful, very believable feint before stepping in with a 1-2. Very explosive feat. Now here it's near the end of the round, he's going to look for some defense. He sees that Estrada's trying to retaliate, so he just steps back with the squeeze. He sees the jab coming, raises his guard, ducks under the right hand before shuffling away, and then finally tries for this counter where he just pulls away and counters over the top with his lead hand. It starts to become a little scrappy, so he just shuffles off and resets around to his left, walks around, knows he's closing the distance in for the right hand, so he's staying very cautious of it, sees it coming, raises his guard, and ducks under. Now he's a little bit slow with the counter here. And takes a little bit too long to throw this hook, so Estrada just manages to reset away. And that's the end of the round. So I really hope you enjoyed that. They're 2 high-level boxers. It was an excellent study, and I really recommend watching the fight. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. Happy training, guys. See you next time.